Today we are going to build a modern desktop application with a navigation bar and an awesome built-in light and dark mode. By the end of this video, you will not only learn how to build this incredible app from scratch, but you'll also gain a solid understanding of creating modern user interfaces in Python. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here is the app design that we are going to bring to life in Python. So this design will serve as our guide as we code the entire app step by step. But before we dive into coding, please make sure you have Python 3 installed on your machine. And once you are ready, then open your favorite code editor. So first things first, we need to make sure we have the required libraries installed for this project. We will be using CustomTkinter for the modern look and feel, and Pillow for handling images in our app. So let's go ahead and install these libraries. Open your terminal or command prompt and type in the following commands. So I will write pip3 since I'm on a Mac computer, but if you are on a Windows machine, all you need to do is to type pip, then type install CustomTkinter, followed by the second package, which is Pillow. Hit enter to start the installation. Alright, now that we have set everything up, let's start importing the libraries into our project. So I'm going to create a new Python file named app.py. At the top of our script, we are going to import CustomTkinter, import OS, and finally, from Pillow, import image. Now, we will set up the main app window and then code the layout. So we define the app class, which inherits from CustomTkinter.ctk. So this serves as our main class window inside the underscore init method. Then we initialize the GUI by calling super parentheses .init method. We then set the window title to CustomTkinter and then specify the app window dimensions using surf.geometry. Then pass the window size to 700 by 450 pixels. And finally, I'm going to write if underscore name is equal to underscore main column. Then we initialize our app class and start the event loop using app.mainLoop. This keeps the window of our app running and responsive. And when we run the code, here we get our application window. And as you can see, the size is set to 700 by 450 pixels. So this is how our application is going to look on the screen, with our navigation on the left and then the content area on the right. Now the next thing we are going to do is to configure the grid layout. Our goal here is to create a layout with one row and two columns. So in any GUI application, arranging widgets like the buttons, labels, and frames is essential in order to create a user-friendly interface. So the most common ways to organize this widget in CustomTkinter is by using a grid layout. So I'm going to write surf.grid underscore row configure, then pass in 0 and then set weight equals to 1. Again, I'm going to write surf.grid underscore column configure, then pass in 1, also set weight equals to 1. So these two functions helps our app main window to be flexible and responsive layout by filling the vertical space here. Now, the next step is we are going to load the various images that will appear in the app, such as the logo, icons for our navigation, which are specific to light and dark modes of our app. Now, to make it easier for you to follow along and build this app yourself, I've included all the images and the source code in my GitHub repository. You can find the link in the description below. So head over to the repository where I've uploaded the necessary assets for this app. Once you download these resources, you will be able to run the app exactly as we'll build it together in this tutorial. So let's load our images. First, we need to define the path to the folder containing all the images. We will use os.path.join to create this path. Inside the parentheses, we will provide the directory name using os.path.directoryname. Then the folder path with os.path.realpath parentheses underscore file. And finally, the name of our folder, which is images. This images folder is where all our files or images are stored for this project. Now that we have defined the path to the images folder, let's start defining the path to our individual images. For the logo, I'm going to write soft.logo_image equal to CustomTkinter image, parentheses, image.open, then os.path.join, then the images folder path we defined above. Then I'm going to pass in the name of our image logo, which is softlinks_logo.png, comma, for the image size, I'm going to give it 40 by 40 pixel. Now for the next image, which is going to be large_image, I'm going to copy this code and then paste it below. Then change the name here to large image. We also need to change the file name to large_image.png, and the image size is going to be 500 by 320 pixel. Again, we need to add the images for our navigation, which has the dark mode and the light mode. So first, let's start with the images for the home navigation. I'm going to write soft.home_image is equal to CustomTkinter.ctk_image, parentheses. So in this situation, we will need to pass in the light mode image path and also the dark mode image. Now I'm going to write light_image is equal to image.open, os.path.join, then pass in our image folder, which is image_path, then the name of our image, which is home_dark.png. Now for the dark mode image, I'm going to copy this here and then say dark_image is equal to, then paste the code here, and change the name of our image to home_light.png instead, comma, then I'm going to give it the size 20 by 20 pixels. Now the next step is we're going to add the images for the chart and the users tab, which I'm going to copy the code above and then paste it here. Then change the variable name to soft.chart_image. Now I'm going to change the image here to chart_dark.png, and then the second image, which is going to be chart_light.png. Finally, we will add the images for the users. So I'm going to paste the previous code we copied here below, and then change the name to users_image. And for the light mode image path, it's going to be users_dark. And for the dark mode, it's going to be users_light. Alright, now that we have loaded the images, let's actually code the navigation bar of our application. First, we are going to create a frame to hold the navigation element. So I want you to think of a frame as a container where we put our widgets like buttons and labels. So I'm going to write soft.navigation_frame is equal to CustomTkinter.ctk_frame. Then we are going to add a corner radius of 0. Then I'm going to say soft.navigation_frame.grid. This means I'm telling CustomTkinter where to place this navigation frame. So we are placing our frame at row 0 and then column equal to 0. Then we have sticky equal to NSEW, which helps fill the whole space around the button of our app. Finally, to make our navigation flexible as possible when we readjust the app, we are going to write soft.navigation_frame.grid_row configure. Then pass in row 4 and then set weight equal to 1. Now our navigation frame is complete, so let's add the elements. Starting with the navigation label with the logo, I'm going to write CustomTkinter.ctk label, and we are placing our label inside soft.navigation_frame. For the text we are going to display, it's going to be soft links, with extra space to separate the label and the logo. And for the image logo we are going to display, it's going to be soft.logo_image. Then we have compound equal to left. And this tells our label to position the image logo to the left. Finally, for the font, I'm going to write CustomTkinter.ctk font. Then give it a font size of 15 and then weight equal to bold. Finally, we are going to say soft.navigation_label.grid. So we will place this label at row equal to 0 and also column equal to 0. For extra space padding around the label, we will write pad x equal to 20 and also pad y equal to 20. So let's run our code and have a look. Now, as you can see, we have our logo and label completed. So let's code the navigation buttons. Starting with the home button, I'm going to say self.home_button is equal to CustomTkinter.ctk button. And we'll place this button inside the self.navigation_frame. We are going to set the corner radius equal to 0. Then the height of the button is going to be 40 pixels. Then we'll also set border spacing equal to 10. For the text that will show on the button, it's going to be home. Then we have FG color equal to transparent. Again, for the text color, we have gray 10 for the light mode. Then we also have another gray 90 for the dark mode. And for the hover color, we will set gray 70 when we hover the button in light mode. Then gray 30 when we hover in dark mode. Now for the image icon for the home button, we are going to write self.home_image. Finally, we have anchor equal to W, which aligns our button to the left of the navigation. Now, after defining the button, we'll place this button using self.home_button.grid. So we are placing this button in row 1 and then column equal to 0. Then we have sticky equal to EW to ensure that our button fills the horizontal space of our navigation. So let's run the code and have a look at this button. And as you can see, we have the home button completed. So let's add the rest of the buttons. I'm going to copy the code for the home button and then paste here below. Then change the name of the button to chat_button. For the text to display on the button, it's going to be chat. Then for the image logo, we're going to write self.chat_image. Then for the grid layout, we will change the name to chat_button. Finally, change the row to 2 instead. So let's do the same thing for the users button. I'm going to paste the code we copied earlier here below, and then change the name of the button to users_button. For the text, it's going to be users. Then as for the icon, I'm going to change it to users_image. Finally, for the grid layout, we will change the name to users_button. Again, we will position this button to row 3 instead of 2. Now, if we run the code, then we have all our buttons completed. So the next feature we are going to implement is adding an option menu to our navigation bar that allows users to select the appearance of the app. So I'm going to say self.appearance_mode_label is equal to CustomTkinter.ctk label. I'm going to place the label inside self.navigation_frame, and the label is going to display the text appearance mode. Then set our anchor equal to W. And finally, I'm going to position our label using self.appearance_mode_label.grid. We are going to place the label at row 5, then column equals to 0. Now for the menu options, we are going to say self.appearance mode equal to CustomTkinter.ctk option menu. Also, we will add our menu inside the self.navigation_frame. Then we have the values equal to brackets. So first we have the light mode, comma, then the dark mode, and finally the system mode. Now after setting up the menu, we will position it within the navigation frame. So I'm going to say self.appearance_mode.grid, and we are going to place our menu options on row 6 and then column equal to 0. Then we add pad x equals to 20 to add some extra spacing on both the left and the right side of the menu button. Again, I'm going to say pad y equal to parentheses 0 then 20. And this means we are adding extra 20 pixels only to the bottom of our menu. Finally, we have sticky equals to S. So let's run our code and have a look. Now, as you can see, we have our menu options completed. But however, the menu options are not functional because we can switch to different modes. So to make this menu fully functional, we need to add an event. This event will allow our app to detect where the user has selected the new appearance mode. So I'm going to define a function called change_appearance_mode_event. Then add self, then new appearance mode. This parameter holds the value of the appearance mode selected by the user. Inside this function, we will use CustomTkinter.set_appearance mode. Then pass in new_appearance_mode. Now our function is completed. So let's go ahead and link this function to our appearance mode dropdown. So I'm going to say command equal to change_appearance mode_event. Alright, let's run our code and test our theme mode to have a look. As you can see, we can switch to dark mode. Again, we have the system mode. Now the final thing we are going to do is to add this design here to our app. So back to our code editor. The first thing we are going to do is to create a frame for our design. Then I'm going to say self.image_frame equal to CustomTkinter.ctkFrame. We will pass self as the first argument. Then our frame is going to have a corner radius of 0. Then fg color equals to transparent. So we are going to say self.image_frame.grid to position the frame. We are going to place it at row 0, column equals to 1. Then we have sticky equals to NSEW. Now that our frame is ready, let's add the image design. We will create a label for our image by writing self.image_label is equal to CustomTkinter.ctkLabel. Then place this label inside self.image_frame we just created. For the label text parameter, we'll set it to an empty string. As for the image, we will use self.large_image. Remember, we loaded this image at the beginning of our code. Finally, we will position our image label using self.image_label.grid. We will place the image at row equal to 0 and column equal to 0. So let's run our code and have a look. As you can see, we now have our app. This is awesome, right? So please let me know in the comments what you think about CustomTkinter and what kind of app you would like a tutorial on next. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care.